have orchestrated the placement of buildings and the architecture, and then to control people, but also events. You know, they tend to start wars on a particular event, and they last till a certain time. And yeah, it's just crazy how they are controlling everything. It's so far beyond a conspiracy. It's just it's almost unbelievable that they have that much control. And I know everybody that has studied it or listened to Tessarian or Cooper or David Icke come away with this awe of power and orchestration. But I have something that I've been thinking about for a while, and I'm going to toss it out there, that because, as I shared the other night, that I believe that we are in a matrix, but not necessarily a computer-generated matrix, that there's an alternative way of looking at all of it. But before I reveal it, let me bait you with this. You are familiar with the ley line system, right? The power grid, the unseen power grid that resides all over the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that it is just uncanny once again how these great cathedrals the Great Pyramid, all of them are at the intersections of these ley lines, right? Well, I think the alternative to the traditional conspiracy view is that what if all of it is a program, that they don't necessarily set out to do this and that on a date. They might not be setting out to find the intersection of this invisible power grid and build a cathedral there. It's that they have no choice. It's all in the program, and it's all inevitable. Whole different way of thinking about it. What do you think?
I don't know if I know what you mean. What do you mean program by that word?
Okay. Matrix. Is a matrix.
Well, why would the ley lines, the cathedrals, what would be the connection between us being in a matrix and program next to the idea that all the cathedrals and so forth are on ley lines?
Wow, I could not dream up a better explanation of a matrix than to show you the invisible ley line grid.
Yeah, the Earth grid. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Kathy writes a lot about that.
Right. I couldn't dream that up. Yeah, mm-hmm. I can't dream a better one up. And then when you add to it that the Illuminati are always building on these intersections of that grid, then what I'm proposing is it's all inevitable. It's in the program for those to be there. It's kind of like, think of it this way. Here's a simpler analogy. There's a program called Sim City. I was looking at it about a year or two ago, and I was reading the back of the game. And I've never played it, but apparently what you do is you just have this land and you start building a city. And but there are, I'm sure, restrictions of what you can build where, like your streets are going to have to be a certain distance apart, and your buildings can't go in the middle of the street, right? It's the same way with this invisible matrix that we are inside. Those buildings that the Illuminati place have no other place to go other than those grid intersections.
Interesting. Okay. Well, so you mean that you think it's a huge mind control grid is what this Earth grid really might be?
Yeah, I mean, if you take it to the extreme, then you tie into my overall view that evil has a role to play, and that is to drive us into revealing our true nature, and that without it, we do nothing. You wouldn't look, people, if you didn't have struggle in your life, you would have no idea when to celebrate. It's the yin and yang. You have to have all of it. You have to be hungry to enjoy the feast. You have to have the feast to regret the drought. And that is the cycle of life. It is life and death. It's a cycle of everything. Every business, the whole world is a cycle. The life cycle is absolutely everywhere. Our sun is in a cycle. And the only thing that would, to me, that I've ever come across that answers that is that there's something necessary about evil. And that is it. It has a role of forcing us to go forward and to battle against it, therefore define ourselves. And hopefully most of us that are listening tonight claim victory on the white hat team.
Very interesting. You mean the ultimate Illuminati, Nephilim evil has a role, or do you mean it's more like daily life stuff, like, people being mean to each other, or both?
No, the Illuminati, the Nephilim, what you call them, Satan, it all has a role to play.
Well,
and it's a important one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have to think about that, and I know you mentioned that to me in private a couple of weeks ago in some conversations. But if this universe, think about this. A lot of times atheists want to attack Christians, saying, oh, it's so absurd that Satan can exist if this all-powerful, intelligent designer, God, created everything, then and lets this beast loose on the earth to, do such evil. That doesn't make any sense that the Creator would sustain that. Your argument would be a way out of that atheist attack against Christians. There's all these debates, atheists and Christians have with each other. Sure. That's a big atheist one. How can evil exist and then with an all-loving God? And it is a good, right. It's a good question.
It does address that, but it also addresses reality. Reality is earthquakes happen, famines happen, bad politicians happen. The Great Pyramid is at the intersection of a ley line. It answers everything. I would challenge anybody to overcome my theory on this.
So the Earth is specifically, its energies are specifically being harnessed by the Illuminati Nephilim to be used against us, or they pre-existed that way, and here we just find ourselves in this system. Which would it be? Well,
they pre-existed, so it's part of the matrix system, the grid, the power grid of the ley lines. There's several different, grid lines that they have found, but the ley line system is the most common one. And no, that always existed. That pre-existed before the cathedral. And just like on Sim City, the builders, the Illuminati, and their masons, actually, and the architect, had no other choice than to put that cathedral at one of those intersections.
So you're saying the mind control system is not literally we're sitting in a bathtub somewhere with electrodes hooked up to our spinal cord, like in the Matrix movie or the classic Cartesian argument.
No.
You're saying it's more like just direct on the consciousness control. And here we are walking around the world, but our consciousness is manipulated. Is it that one? Second?
Not really.
Neither.
But yeah, neither. It's that the Creator created a matrix, a mathematical matrix, and we are in his thoughts. And we are experiencing life, and he is living it vicariously through us and our choices. Hey, that's it for the show. I appreciate you all for tuning in. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Top 10 News Stories each day and listen to